trendsetter. Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Passion to Paycheck podcast. On today's episode, we have Bill here from the Body Fat Clinic. Hey Bill, how are you doing today?
Really good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Good. So go ahead and let the audience know what exactly you do right now, a little bit about your business.
I should have asked this earlier. Where do I look? I'm sorry.
You look at us, look at the camera.
All right. So Body Fat Clinic, what do we do? We provide, there's no other, first off, there's no other business like Body Fat Clinic in Bakersfield. We're not personal trainers. We're not a gym. We're not like some weight loss clinic. And you know, a lot of people get confused with the name like Body Fat Clinic. Like, how long is it going to take me? You know, like, what is that machine? But what we do is we do a full body composition analysis, and that does a lot of different things for the person getting it. So that's what we want people to know is we do a full body composition analysis, and it gives you all the data that you need to help you on your journey, whatever it may be.
Okay, so just more data to kind of help you dial in what any issues you may be having.
Yeah. Like for example, you know, like let's say someone starts working out, right? Someone starts. They want to get fit, or they want to do a bodybuilding show. You know, like Ephraim here, super fit, super lean. Like most people want to be where he's at. Like most guys come in, they want to be where he's at. But where he's at, it's like I want to be leaner. I want to have this. How do you know how to make the changes? So
you need the data.
You need the data, because if you don't, you're just kind of guessing. You're just like, okay, the Instagram model did this, I'll try that. You know, that trainer did this. You're just rolling the dice, and you're hoping a few months later you make some changes. But then how do you know what changes you've made? You know,
Can't tell.
You can't tell, or you're going off the scale, or you're going off the belt. Whereas what the Body Fat Clinic does is we use these machines. They're called the bod pods. They're made by Cosmed. The best way to kind of I like to explain those to people is they're exercise science equipment. So they're stuff that's going to be found in universities and exercise research facilities only.
Okay.
So the average person has never heard about them.
Right.
You know, and in reality, it's like, what are those things? Like, but we've all seen the TV, the commercials, or like you're watching the Sports Center and you see the guys on the treadmill with the hoses and they're running.
Yeah.
Okay, what are those? That's exercise science equipment. And the same people that make that make the bod pod that I use.
Oh, okay.
So like, for example, you know, the NFL uses the bod pods that I have to test every athlete that comes into the NFL.
Okay.
I mean, you got to think about it. They're spending how many millions per athlete,
Right?
and they want to know exactly what that kid's made of, where he's at, what can we do with him. So they use the bod pod to get that information. The NBA, you know, like any university around the world that has an exercise science department uses the bod pod to teach their athletes and to work on their student athletes as well. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like state of the art kind of technology.
It is state of the art. It has been the advancement. So where it started was the underwater body fat testing. That was the gold standard. Everyone kind of knew about that. That was a big deal back in the 80s and 90s. They had these big vans that would drive around with them in the back, and they'd park outside of a gym. And
Get everybody. Make that sale. Come in. Jump in there.
and they were painstaking. They were huge. These things were like. They were huge. They were like 5 foot wide by like 10 foot long. You'd have to literally like almost feel like you're drowning doing them. They were very uncomfortable. The average person couldn't do it because, you know, you'd be in a bathing suit, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
So the same people making that equipment, the scientists were like, we could do the same thing, but instead of air displacement, you know, so it's like when someone's body gets into the water rises and it pushes out. And that's the science for how they get the body fat. They use the measurements and they're like, okay, based off of that, his height, his weight, his age, you know, there's some stats there that are given. And then they're like, okay, this is how dense that person is. So they're able to use the same thing, but in a compartment in that pod. So in that pod, before someone comes into the Body Fat Clinic, it takes 2 hours to get that machine warmed up and calibrated and going.
Oh, okay.
And so before you even stepped in it, that thing was running 99.8% accurate on testing. Not saying you're going to get a 99.9% accurate test, but you're going to get like 97, 98. You're going to get a very accurate reading consistently.
Okay.
Because we have air, right? You have little face hair, you know, like whatever the case is. But we have instructions. I send people instructions to make sure we get the most accurate test possible.
Okay, nice. So as far as like the clinic you have, what kind of made you go to that route and kind of bring that to Bakersfield?
You're gonna like this because kind of like how yourself with your history of like how you got into mobility. You know, it was kind of like, you know, this happened to me from the mainstream, and then you went this way to like where real health is, where real like really trying to help someone. It's like, who cares about if you're trying to bodybuild? If you have a bad back, the bodybuilding doesn't matter.
Yeah, because you're gonna feel the pain no matter what you do.
And
It's gonna get worse.
And there's gonna be a time in your life that like, okay, bodybuilding's over. Now what about your back?
Exactly.
Like Ronnie Coleman, God bless that guy, right?
That's very sad.
Come on.
Lifting all that weight. And
You know, I could imagine, you know, like one thing, when guys get to that thing, they look back and like, man, you know, I wish I would have protected my back more, you know. But probably not Ronnie Coleman, right? I wish I would have.
you don't
Lightweight.
God bless him. I was there at the show at the Olympia when Cutler took the title from him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was there at the show the year before too. That was always a thing that those guys were something else.
Always going for you, huh?
Then Phil Heath too when he was competing with all them.
Dude, he would walk into the conventions with like a king's robe, like a real king's robe. You know, the red ones with like the white and like the black. Then he'd have all these women behind me just walking, and he'd walk past Jay Cutler, and he'd just be like, "Hey, those guys are showmen."
Oh yeah, they put on the show for sure.
Yeah. So what the idea behind Body Fat Clinic is, so I didn't come into the fitness industry obviously as a bodybuilder. You know, it's like I came in from the sports medicine side. I studied exercise physiology, and I seen like medicine different, right? So the American medical model system is based off of symptomatic medicine, right? So if someone known mobility, you understand that. You have knee pain, here's knee medication. You have knee pain, put a brace on.
Yeah.
Someone like you with mobility, I mean, you have knee pain, what are you trying to figure out?
What's causing the knee pain? And what's pulling on the muscles? Maybe it's not even at the knee. Maybe it's the quad, it's the hamstring and the calf that's tight. I've worked with people where I've massaged their calf and their quad starts capitulating like that.
That sounds like a conspiracy.
Yeah. And then as I started working with more people, I started understanding, oh shoot, things are pulling on one another. Yep. Even though it's all the way down here, it's still affecting.
That's reciprocal. It's definitely reciprocal.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the same thing that I was looking at the American medical system, the American medical model. And it's like you have symptomatic medicine, but you also have this other one. It's called preventive medicine. And that's where health and fitness comes in. And so I was like, you know, let me get into this health and fitness industry and kind of, you know, I could reach a general population and teach them health and fitness, trying to give them a healthier approach, not fad dieting, not gimmicky dieting, but teach them how to eat healthy, teach them how to eat appropriate for their lifestyle. Everyone's different, right? So everyone touches their toe in the water different. I like to jump in. Some people kind of like to ease in. Yeah. Some people like to wear clothes and they get in, right? So it's kind of like learning how to adjust for everyone. And so that's kind of where I came up with the idea with this is when I was training people, we would do these body fat calibers with the pinching, and that was a lot more accurate than the bioelectrical impedance, you know, the electrical scales or the in-bodies. Those are very inaccurate, but they're very popular because they look fancy and they're accessible. But they have, on average, they literally run like 7 to 9% off every single time, up and down. So it's 7% up and down. So that's a sway of like 14 to 18% off. And that's just in a controlled study with really good ones. Then the really good ones are the ones that have the handheld hands and the feet ones. So you're getting a full read. Whereas the ones most of us use is just the handheld ones or the ones you're sitting down. You know, and if you think about that, like if I'm just sitting down, that electrical current's only going from that foot to this foot. It's not coming up through my belly. It's not coming through my body.
Which makes sense because there's nothing metal up there.
Yeah, there's nothing to connect it. Yeah. So when I started doing body fat, what was happening to me is I was getting these people's, and they were paying me a lot of money, right? Like $1,400 every 3 months. They'd pay me some packages, and I'd have, you know, I had a book clientele, and after a couple months, I'd want to do every month. I'd do a follow-up measurement, and you know, most of them would be pretty good. But what would I notice was happening is with a lot of beginner clients that were unhealthy, they would be discouraged after our readings because they wouldn't get that significant weight loss. You know, and they knew it. They were feeling better. They were feeling stronger. Their clothes were feeling better. Everything was great. But guess what? The scale went up a pound.
Muscle.
Right, but they had no, all they had to go off of was my word and the little calculations I was doing. So what I'd have to do is I'd have to do the calipers, do the calculations, and then I'd have to calculate their metabolism based off this math formula called the Catch-McArdle formula, and you know, just and they're just looking at me, and I'm like, "You're doing great. This is great," and I could see it in their face, just defeat. And I thought, like, you know what? Like, it would be nice to have something, but there was nothing in Bakersfield. These machines cost like $50,000 each. So it's not very profitable as a business. That's why you don't see them in the mainstream. That's why people get those cheap InBodies, and they get those the trainers use those. Yeah. I would stay away from using those if you're really trying to make a change, because it could be discouraging. You know, you get on there one day and it's this, you get on the next day, it's like, you know, there's more to go off of. I could keep talking. You guys just shut me up whenever.
No, you're good. You're good.
Hey, I'm a nerd. When it comes to stuff, I love it, man. I could talk forever.
Go for it.
That's awesome.
I really do love this.
Yeah. I can tell just by the way you're speaking, kind of the passion you have behind it.
Yeah, I'll tell you know, just to keep on, just to keep on.
Keep on keeping on.
Just to get back to that person that's getting in shape, and I had this gal come in the other day, right? And obviously, when you look at her, you would think, okay, she's a little overweight, right? You know, let's be real. You could look at someone, you'd be like, okay, they're a little overweight. Hey, he's a little skinny. He's a little this. She's overweight, but you know, most of the women that come in with me that are overweight, guess what? They're actually underweight. And that's what was happening with the readings I was getting when I was in the gym, when I was a trainer. And that's what I was like. So back in 2004, I had this idea to make this business, and I wrote a business plan out called Emerged, because you'd have to get in the water as when the water body fat testers. And I never like did that business because I went elsewhere. But then last year, I was like, you know what? Let me get that business, and I still have it. I still kept it. I got it out. Blew the dust out of it, and then I knew the bod pods were the bod pods are the new gold standard. They replaced the underwater body fat testing. So an old colleague of mine, Brian Martin, God bless his heart. He's doing amazing work with our military troops. He runs the exercise science department at the University of Pennsylvania. He is doing a lot of the work I was doing in Quantico with the Marines there, and he has access to these bod pods. So I was able to get a few of his older machines because, you know, they got the government grants. They got all.
Oh, yeah.
So I was able, yeah.
The high tech stuff.
Yeah. So, and it's great having someone like that on my back because he's been working with these bod pods for 20 years. So I get like on-hand mentoring, and he's just a great, resource for me to have. So talking with him about that and linking up with these machines, I was able to get him, at an affordable rate to where I could offer it to the public. Now, getting back to that lady that came in that was overweight, but she's really underweight. And that's where I was finding the discouraging before, because they'd start eating healthy and they would be eating a very little amount of calories and they're gaining weight and they're getting discouraged. And I had no other way except like, hey, you're okay. Hey, you're doing good. And you know what they're thinking in their mind? They're thinking this guy's selling me. He's taking me on just like every other fat loss, every other weight loss, right? Like every other train. He's, I wanted to lose weight. Look at me. And I'm gaining weight. Like,
it's not working.
It's not working. It's just me. Nothing works for me. You know, like I've tried everything. No, you haven't. And that's what I love about the Bod Pod, because we could sit here with the data and I could show them, look, you don't even care about that fat they have on their body. It's not a test where you pass or fail. That's what a lot of people think. They think they come into Body Fat Clinic like, what's my test result? Like, if it's a health test, we're all going to fail, right? Because we can all do better. No matter how much mobility you have, you can do better. No, how much you work out, you can still do better. Like we're all going to fail but this is not a pass or fail test. This is like, it's the reality of where you're at. And for me, looking at data for I've been doing this 25 years. I could look at that and find out like, okay, hey, I could tell how your life has been, how your diet has been. We could see how much muscle you have, and we could see if it's healthy. And then like for this lady specifically, she was under about 15 pounds. Okay. So her metabolism is next to nothing.
Yeah, so anything she eats is just going to make that weight go up.
Right.
Because she's in the surplus based on her metabolism, even though she doesn't realize it.
Yes.
Okay.
So how is she going to lose weight? A woman like that, and some men like that, man, God bless them. They can't lose the fat like they want because they don't have the metabolism to burn the fat. So the first thing we have to do is spend 3 months getting them healthy.
Takes about 3 months.
3 months, exactly. 3 months to get their lean mass up, get their posture up, get saturated, and get them up before they can even really start
working on it.
Yeah. Now it doesn't mean they're not going to lose fat in that process, because they will. Like I see it all the time. I see people as they gain a couple pounds, they lose a couple pounds. Yeah. But that's not the goal. The goal initially is, hey, let's get your muscle mass up, eating properly. You know what I mean? Let's get you eating at a proper amount, because most of these people, their metabolisms are so slow that in order to lose weight, they would literally have to eat like a very malnourishing diet. You know what I mean? Like you're talking
calories.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it takes like 2,500 to 3,000 calories to get all your recommended daily allowance of nutrients. So if you're under that, you're not getting the right amount of nutrients. So you get hair loss, you get skin problems, vision problems, you get a lot of issues. So like the key thing initially is like looking at that data and let's being realistic with it. You know, like for example, like you came in, right? Mm-hmm. Like how did the data hit you?
Well, I think the way it worked for me is like kind of like you said, it's kind of like to get the data and then see what your goal is. Yeah. Because once you get to a point where you're really taking care of yourself, you're eating good, like you said earlier, like now it's like how much is it going to change and how am I going to change it if I don't know where I'm going and I don't have something to go by. So that I think that helps me, because once you get to that point, anything you tweak, it makes a big difference. Yes. Even though you don't see it on your body, but you will see a big difference. I feel it when I have a cheat meal or stuff like that. You know, you get bloated and I feel bloated. Yeah, I shouldn't have ate those tacos. But they were so good, but I shouldn't have ate them. You know, so I think that's where I see where open up my eyes to where like, okay, there's where I'm at. What's my next goal? Because now it's about tweaking the small little tweaks that make the big difference. On the long run.
Yeah, I remember yours specifically because you have your metabolism is like...
I know, your metabolism is like fast.
You told me. Dude. I was like, damn.
Yeah, like...
You're like 3,000.
It's more. It's like more than that. I was like 35 or something like that. I was like, wow, Lord, I pray, give me his metabolism. You know, and that's kind of the data that's so important that you get. So when you come into Body Fat Clinic, they're very private appointments. I lock the door. I'm not open to the public. They're open by appointment only. Okay, I have a real private setting. I have a private changing room. You know, I have private curtains. You know, I have gowns if someone wants to change clothes. And with that being a private, like if someone feels comfortable wearing shorts, like a female, right? They don't. I have people that come in, guys that come in, they want to go butt naked. That's fine. They want it as accurate as possible. I'm like, okay, all right, go for it. Oh, you know, we disinfect everything. Everything's medical grade. It's anti-porous, like all that. But then, you know, you get the women that come in and they like wearing the bikinis because it gets it as accurate as possible. But that's not everyone. You know, the average, they're going to wear some little short, you know, fitness shorts, and then you know, like a fitness bra, a sports bra. But it's okay. Like I've had women wear yoga pants and wear, like, you know, as long as it's not compressive, as long as it's over the skin, it will give us a good reading and it will be accurate as long as we're using the same thing. So I want to make sure people know, like, you know, it's not like, oh, I'm going to be naked. No, like if you don't feel comfortable,
makes you feel more comfortable.
Whatever makes you feel comfortable, and we're going to get an accurate reading. Yeah. Yeah, I could keep going. Like, I just want to talk.
Go ahead. So what's your plan from here on, now that you started the company?
Well,
for the long term.
Well, the plan for the long term. Okay. The plan right now still is awareness, because no one knows.
Right.
So I think we have a battle right here to fight. I'm very happy with the partnership I have with a company called Net Changer. She does my social media, and she's really good at getting my name out there, because that's where I was trying to do it on my own, and I couldn't get that
hard.
You know,
you need the right people in your team. Huh?
Yeah, you know, and I'm just very grateful. Like, you know, they're able to see my vision and kind of push it out there to where we get more exposure, because the fitness industry in Bakersfield is very competitive and is very divisive. You know, like, these are my clients. Well, I don't want to promote you because you're going to steal. And I understand that when it's coming from a gym or it's got like a little bit, but I'm not none of that. I'm not selling supplements. I'm not selling memberships. I'm not trying to take your client. I'm not selling nutrition.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I'm just giving people data, and I could look at the data and help them with their questions. You know, I'm not sitting there going, do this. No, like like, here's the data. This is what it shows here. And if they have questions, like, it's pretty simple to answer a question when I'm have the, you know what I mean? Like, someone comes into you, your friend, like, hey, look at my car. What do you think? You're like, well, this, and this.
Right.
It's that simple.
What do you want to do?
What's up? Like, you got to smash this. It's not just the bumper, it's the frame. It's not just
everything. Yeah, but we get it. So yeah, you like, if some people might have a couple more questions depending on their goals and where they're going, where they're heading.
Yeah.
Some people that just might need that data for that one time, or some people are competing, so they're gonna show up a little bit more and try to do a little bit more work, and they need that data to be able to change.
Well, I like
where they're going.
I like where you're segueing that, because that's another thing. People want to know, how often do I do it? How often do we come in? There's a lot of different clients. First people is general health. You know, like. For myself, you know, I've lost 50 pounds this year, and I was tracking myself a little bit earlier, but I don't track no more because I like where I'm at. I just want to kind of stay still for a little bit. So I'm not going to track myself, you know, like every maybe 2 more months. So I was waiting for like a 6-month mark, you know, just to track, because I'm about to, then I'm going to switch my goal again. Right. Someone's just looking at general health, their age, get it done once a year, twice a year. And just kind of see where we're at, see how age is happening, see, you know, how the holidays treated you. And but if they're looking to change their routine, or like have some type of physical change, like build muscle, drop a little body fat, during that program, I would recommend getting one right before they start that program, and then one like 2 to 3 months to see how that program is affecting their body.
Okay.
You know, because that's the greatest thing about the bod pod, is it will tell us exactly how your body is responding to that stress, that environment. So you want to try that high protein diet, low calories, let's test it out. You want to get a trainer that pushes you hard, come and hold them accountable.
All right.
You know, you're paying all this money for all this stuff that you hope is working. Let's put it to the test and see how it's working. Hold them accountable. But I'll tell you one thing. I have a lot of partnerships. I have people could partner with me and give their clients discounted rates. Gyms could give them their clients discounted rates by partnering with me. It's as simple. I have a partnership program, and where I just email their trainer the data. You know, so I have people that come in, I literally just say hi, bye, hey, change, and they're just in and out, and then their trainer gets the data.
There you go.
And then, you know, we have other facilities that are bigger. Like I have a couple Level and Climb.
Okay, nice.
Their client, they send their clients, they have like our QR code in their club, and with their partnership, they get a discount, but I'm there to answer their questions because they're not like personal trainers, you know. Whereas my personal trainers like Go Lift, Jackson over there, his clients come in, I give them a test, and then I email the trainer that, and then the trainer is able to go over the results.
Knows what he got to do to make them change.
Yeah, and I love it because I'm like, okay, here, like you got that data you need. So where we're headed in the future. But right now we're just trying to fight. We're trying to fight the, like, what is it? Is it like, what is that? What do I do in that?
Yeah,
how long?
something
like,
new.
I get a question. How long is it going to take me to lose my fat in that machine?
Like, we don't do that here.
I was like, man, I just want to say, well, here, give me your credit card. How much you got on your credit card?
Empty it out. Yeah.
Well, how, you know, and that's a question I used to say as a trainer, like to people, they'd be like, man, that's expensive, you know, or I don't know if I could afford it. Well, the reality is if you could get your results, if you could just right now, I could give you all the results you wanted. How much would you be willing to pay? Would you give me access to your credit card? Most people would. How many times people spend $10,000, $15,000 doing surgery?
Oh yeah.
And what happens 5-6 years later? They're worse. They're worse than when
Way worse.
because they never learned. Right.
The habits never change.
Right. You know, and the bod pod is very inexpensive. You know,
And how much does it cost?
right now we have two. We have two things. Two things. We have two packages you could buy. We have one that's one session, which is $69, which is normally $75. So there's a little discount right there. And we have another one that's normally $125, which is $99. That's probably the most popular because it gives you the one now and one later.
Oh, okay.
Or like I just had a couple today buy one for next weekend. It's like a couple thing.
Okay.
You know, or gym bros,
Yeah,
or
there
like,
you go.
you know, gym hoes. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, because I think you need at least two. You know, whatever change you're trying to make, like you said, a new diet, new trainer, whatever. Get it before, and then 2-3 months later, go back, get the second one, and see if you're getting your goal or you're making change, and how good is that change for you?
And I'll tell you, man, I could just go on about the different types of people that come in without saying names or like describing, but very eye-opening, right? So like I'll tell a little story about a couple. I could tell stories how the bod pod it changed. It's eye-opening. It really is a game changer. Had a couple come in and very motivated, a good-looking couple, you know. But you could tell they haven't been working out the best, but they're not, you know, crazy overweight. You know, they look good. You know, he looks good, she looks good, but they want to tighten up. And guess what? They're going to eat clean. You know what I mean? Like eating clean. Like wow. Like we all use napkins, right? Like I'm not trying to spill food on myself, but you know. But when people say eat clean, what they're really saying is they're going to cut out carbs.
Yeah.
They're going to do like some fasted type of cardio or fasted. They're not going to eat in the morning a lot of times.
Yeah.
They're going to, you know, eat, you know,
Salads
all
day and night,
and a lot of, you know, meats. You know, they're going to eat quinoa. Who started eating quinoa? If you eat quinoa, stop it. No, I'm joking. It's a good start. It's a very healthy start. But who grew up eating that, right? Like I think our grandmas would smack us silly if they do, or like eat quinoa. Anyways, yeah. So they went to eat clean, and I was like, we got the results, and I was telling them like, hey, this is your data, this is your metabolism, this is where you should be. Like this is what you need. You need to feed. Look, you know, because they weren't bad. They were eating good, and you I was like, all right, cool, appointment over. So like almost 3 months later, they follow up and they're excited. They're like, and I'm excited because I'm like, oh yeah, we're excited. They're excited. If they're excited, I'm excited because I'm like, okay, we're going to get to see, what they did. And they came in and I did his test first, and I was like, oh, am I reading this? Like, am I reading this right? Like, I thought they were excited because they're like, we're losing weight, and like, nothing.
Everything the same. Pretty close.
No, it was worse.
Oh, it was worse.
It was worse. Oh. And so I'm looking at the data, and I didn't say nothing. I was like, okay, don't even look at him. I'm not even gonna make contact because I want to see how his wife did. Like let's focus on one positive thing. Like I'm not gonna say nothing. So like I get hers and nothing. Same thing.
Oh shit.
And what happened is they only lost like a 1 pound or 2 pounds, but they lost like 3 or 4 pounds of muscle.
Oh.
And they actually
starving themselves.
And they put on fat. Yes,
starving themselves.
They were starving themselves. Yeah. So when I printed out the data and started going with them, and then I was like, hey, look, like I got a little extra time. Let's talk more specifically about what's going on. So we calculated out their calories, and they were about 1,000 calories under from what they should have been.
Holy moly.
Yeah, very bad. Like she was really she was light. I think she's like 700 calories, but he was like 1,000 calories.
Wow.
And they were doing everything, they thought in their mind like, man, I'm meal prepping, we're eating clean, we're doing fasted cardio. And it's like, wow, you're doing everything you think in your mind, right? If I just could turn, but a lot of times the fasted cardio is one of the worst things someone could do for themselves.
Right.
There's like fasted anything. Fasting is killing yourself. Now, there's a time for it, like there's people who do it, but they do it for a competitive reason, not for a healthy reason. Mm-hmm. And there's some doctors under strict observation, they'll put people on some fasted states to kind of reboot their system. But in long term, it actually kills you, right? What happens if you stop eating right now for like months? You would die.
You'd die.
You die when you don't eat. Your body goes into starvation mode. And I could, talk on to how that happens. So what happens is you get these people, they're fasted carding, they're not eating enough. And so after a while, their body, like their mind and their body's like, yo, this person is not feeding us.
Yeah. Starts eating itself.
Like, hey, hold up. Like, and then it starts feeding itself, and it doesn't have the energy to burn the fat, because you got to actually have fuel into your body to burn the body fat. So that's why all these people who lose all this weight on weight loss, the gastric bypass, that's why their fat's just hanging off their body, because they're burning the majority of what they're losing is muscle mass. And they'll say, oh, it's water. Where'd the water come from? It come from the muscle, because the muscle breaks down, then it gets rid of the water, you know what I mean? Like, but the great thing about that, it's easy to rebuild. Once you just start eating good, the body just sucks it all in, Mm-hmm. So that's what happened with that couple. They felt, I could tell they were a little discouraged, but I could tell when they left, they felt like empowered. They felt like, okay.
They knew where they were going now.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, when I get results like that and they leave and they switch and they start eating more, their results double. Like,
fast.
It's really fast. Like I had a gentleman like a couple weeks before that on his 2-month follow-up, and he was way under eating too. He was starving himself, eating clean, and within 2 months, the guy dropped 4% body fat, put on 8 pounds of muscle.
Oh, nice.
And he was still under eating, because when someone comes in and they're not eating enough, they're like, you don't want to just jump them straight to their amount of calories, because there could be some blowback. So we just start them off, we start kind of baby stepping them up to that part. And that's what happened. And I'm just really looking forward to kind of seeing where he goes from here, because, he was that kind of guy as, he's real fit, real lean, but has no definition. Mm. And I'm like, I have 6% more body fat than he does. And I have, a 6-pack. Whereas he is very lean, like a lean athlete, and has no definition in his stomach. Because a lot of times that definition comes from your muscle mass. If you don't have the right amount of muscle mass, you're not going to have the definition you want.
Yeah. So most people are probably under eating their protein.
It's not just protein; it's calories in general. You know,
Calories in general.
Yeah. So
Fine.
yeah, you know, well, it goes like this. So in the nutrition field, right, in total fitness, it goes like this. It goes. The most important thing is how many calories are you eating, right? That's the first law of thermodynamics. Energy in equals energy out. So if I'm focused on protein, I'm not eating, and that's what's happening to those people that I'm eating clean. Yeah, they were eating enough protein, but their amount of energy was 1,000 calories too low. So what good is the amount of protein you're eating if you're not eating enough energy? Because your body's going to just treat that protein like an energy source. It's just going to break it down and use it for fuel. It's not even going to use all the rebuilding tools because it's starving. You know, so the first thing, like when you go into nutrition, is how many calories do you need? What is your metabolic rate? Boom. Then after that is meal timing. When you need to eat. What's the best time to eat? What's the most important meal of the day?
Breakfast.
Breakfast. And then the next one. The next one. The next meal is always the most important because you're already done with that one. So the breakfast is the most important meal of the day because it's the first meal of the day. It's how you break your fast. You're breaking a fast. So all night long, right? All night long, you're burning energy to stay awake. When you are asleep, that's when all the good stuff happens. Right? The muscle building, the fat loss, your regrowing your hair, your skin. Because when you're working out, when you're living all day, your body is using that, all your blood flow and all the nutrients to stay alive and move and to function. And when you sleep, that's when it gets to kind of charge the phone. It's docking. So when you wake up, you have no fuel. You're empty. So you want to eat within an hour, 30 minutes, usually about 30 minutes. You want to have a little, well, I don't get hungry in the morning. Well, it's because you haven't been eating, you know? Like a lot of the stuff when people are like, well, I don't like eating. I just never did it. Well, that's why you're where you're at.
Yeah.
You got diabetes. You probably don't eat breakfast.
Yeah.
You know, sumo wrestlers only eat twice a day. Sumo wrestlers, they skip breakfast on purpose. It's an art form in Japan. It's how they get big. You know what I mean? So the most important thing is how many calories you're eating. The next thing is meal timing, right? Start with breakfast and then eat every 2 to 4 hours after that based off your schedule. You know, so if you have like, you know, the average person, let's say get up at 5. All right, eat 6, then 9, 12, 3, 6. You know, most people, don't eat after 6 p.m. Don't eat late at night. That's a lie. All right. That's a lie. If you're up till like 11, 12, you need to eat again. Just
depending on your schedule, depends on the person.
Depends on the person, the schedule. A lot of people, I prefer them to eat right before they go to bed. I prefer them to eat at night. Because
what's the reason? So you could go ahead and use that fuel as you.
Yeah, I got someone like yourself, man. We need to get you in that. We need to get some fuel into you. You know, like because you're not going to be able to eat a lot of it all throughout the day. You know,
right.
and it will definitely help you sleep, help you recover, give you energy to sleep. You know, especially someone who's their metabolism is super fast. They're going to wake up super starved. They might have to get up how many times do you get up at night ever and get hungry?
No, in the mornings.
Yeah, starving. Huh? Yeah. You know, and that happens. So like, there is a big myth. It's one of those big training thing is don't eat after 6. Like what the moon has nothing to do with your body storing fat. I get to see people like, hurry up, the moon's coming. Eat your last meal. Like, right? It's like it's like a werewolf. Like, you know, the time of day has nothing to do with your body storing fat. It's a balance of energy. And if you're up, your schedule's late, then you need to eat later, you know? Like if you're going to bed at 9, then probably 6 o'clock is probably a good time for your last meal. But if you're up past that. So meal timing. And then the next thing after that would be proper nutrition, like having like quality choices.
A meal plan.
Yeah. You know, and it's not about protein. Because I'll tell you, for most guys, most women too, we don't eat enough fiber. You know, like I see people in the clinic all the time that they don't really have the most healthiest bowel movements. All right, I went there. I went to bowel movements. You know, because I'll tell you, your bowel movements tell you everything about your diet. You want to know how your diet is? Check out your bowel movements. You know, are you only having one a week? Are you having a bunch of churro? Are you having whatever? So your bowel movements will let you know. And the fiber is the most important. I would definitely recommend people looking at how many grams of fiber they're eating over the grams of protein they're eating, because obviously we're all going to have a lot of protein.
It's interesting because I actually eat almost no fiber.
Yeah, and that's
I do carnivore. I've been like that for pretty much. I do the fast. Pretty much everything you say don't do, I actually do.
It'll catch up with you.
You think so?
I know so. Yeah, you're young, right? So a lot of times and I'm not trying to wish anything on anybody,
I try just education.
Yeah. And a lot of people, they try different things for a while until something happens, but if you just look at what things do, right? So like, for example, what does fiber do? It's the only thing that makes your stomach do what's called peristalsis, makes your stomach move. So if you're not having the right amount of fibers, you're eventually something's gonna your gut health, right, is not gonna be the most effective. It's not gonna be efficient. Those high protein diets they're yummy, right? Like they're yummy.
Yeah,
People
I felt
like
the
me.
best, even when I've done the fiber, I've done all the stuff you said to do. Didn't work. Actually, my psoriasis all popped out when I went vegan. I did eating the healthy way, the vegetables, the fiber, everything that they say to do. Didn't work. And then when I went to the more meat, more high protein, that's when things started going away. And it kind of stayed at bay.
Right, and I get that.
So finding what kind of works for you.
Yeah, and there's that, right, because if you look at the human body, we're like pretty much identically the same, right? Biologically.
Yeah.
But then you have some people that just function differently. You really do, especially like with psoriasis, right? Because that in people that have what's that disease with the gluten?
Gluten intolerance.
Yeah,
I forget
celiacs. There's some people like yourself that have intolerances to carbohydrates or glutens, and psoriasis is one. You have the sugars, it enhances it. But you're talking a very, very small population. Very small. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's why I kind of like the education that you're bringing. So then it kind of helps me even kind of think about things a little bit more.
Yeah. And if you there's a fine line there, because especially if you have someone like yourself who's tried different things, when you're talking about medical conditions, like some people's bodies just function different medically, but as like a whole, when you're looking at when I talk about nutrition, I use like the American Heart Association, the American Diabetic Association, the American Dietetic Association guidelines, and I show people like how I showed you like on the nutrition, this is what is studied for health wise, and then if you got people that really truly tried that stuff, but the reality is most people truly don't try something, in the nutrition, because they don't even know what they're trying. They don't even know kind of what is what. They're like, well, I tried to eat more of this, and it's like, no, you didn't. You don't even know what you're. What was that? But yeah. So getting back to where we're going with Body Fat Clinic, we're trying to educate people on what we do, right? We're trying to educate people on what we do, how we could help them. And that's the hardest thing right now, is letting all these other gyms know we're not in competition with you.
Just trying to get data to their clients.
Yes. Yeah. We're trying to help their clients. We're just trying to help the people in Bakersfield get a better understanding of where they're at. And I think that's kind of why I love this program. I was like, let me get on here. I've never done a podcast, so I hope it's.
I definitely appreciate all the information for sure.
I hope it's doing good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because a lot of people don't have. They need to be educated. I think that's what it is. Because one of the things you're mentioning right now is like you said, well, I'm gonna start eating clean. Well, yeah, but we're all different. We all need different calories and all that. You got to know what you should be eating, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna eat clean and just eat salads all day.
Oh yeah. And
like you said, you're starving yourself, and instead of doing something better for your body, you're making it worse.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And that it goes to the same point, right? That Rudy was saying, have people being different, and eating different. So it's like, okay, if you're going to eat, if this is where you're going to do, right? So it's like, I'm going to start eating clean, and this is what I'm going to start doing. Let's see how test it out. You know,
Right.
come and get your data, and then you can see how your body responds to it. Then you're like, oh wow, like this, my body's responding real good. And then you can see, hey, you know, my body's not responding good to this.
Stop doing that.
So
Try something else.
try something else, and then until you could get that tailored in for your body and for your goals, because that's what it's all about. Is like, you know, being successful. Want people to be successful. Passion of paychecks.
There you go.
I like that. Who came up with that?
Huh? Well, it's one of my buddies.
Okay.
Yeah, we were talking, and it's one of his clothing sayings.
I love it.
Yeah.
I seen that. I was
Bring
like,
the passion to your paycheck.
I love it. I was talking to a guy in the clinic yesterday about that. You know, he was like, man, I'm tired of working. I'm like, well, what's your passion about?
Right?
And he didn't have an answer. I'm like, then don't even think about working for yourself.
Stay where you're working at.
Right? Because if you're not passionate about what you're doing, it's just going to be, you might as well go work for, it'd be better to go work for someone else.
Yeah.
Because then you're just, let them have all the stress.
Right.
Because if you ain't passionate about what you do, like,
You're gonna hate it.
you're going to hate it even worse.
when it gets
And when you're passionate, you can tell. Like I can tell you're passionate about what you're doing. You're like, so it gets me excited. Like,
I get excited.
Let me listen to what he's saying.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. That's the one thing like that bums me out sometimes. I'm like, man, I just want to see 100 people a day. I just want to help 100. I just want to talk like, you know. And that's why like we did this giveaway recently, and it went real good. Because I was like, let me just give away every gym, every person. Let me give them some gift certificates during the give. You know, this is the month of giving, Thanksgiving. You know, and it's like I just want people in. I just want to interact, and I want to help and inspire people at where they're at their level.
Right.
Not at some, well, we're going to do a bodybuilding show. Like you're going to do my program because, you know,
We're doing this.
get out of here.
So what are you giving away? Why don't you tell the people? What do you have?
I'm giving away a better lifestyle.
There you go.
No, it was with you could check out our Instagram page at it's at Body Fat Clinic. We just did a giveaway. Net Changer had a beautiful giveaway with just overall health. So we have a lot of giveaways coming up. We have more coming up all this month, all this week, for the rest of the month, like almost every week, we're going to have more giveaways.
Something new.
There's a couple of studios, F45. They're going to be giving them to their members. Some people are using them as member giveaways, and then some people are going to do collabs on Instagram. So
there you go.
Yeah, so it's kind of like just getting it out there and
sounds exciting, different.
I think so. It's you know, I want people to know I'll be working with people, man. If someone just wants to come in and see what it's all about, just hit me up. You know, I'm only open by appointment only.
Right.
So people are like, well, the door's locked. Yeah, it's locked because, you know, it's private. I just don't want people coming in. And I'll tell you another reason why I lock the door is it does air displacement. So the bod pod is very sensitive. I'll tell you how sensitive it is. It's so sensitive that if I kept the door open and people were walking in and out, it would fail the system.
It'll pick that up.
It would pick it up because it changes the humidity in the air. It changes the density of the air, which that in turn would make that machine not work properly. It would be giving false readings.
Okay.
So that's why you can't just put that in the back of a truck and drive it around and give a test. It's got to have a stable environment, a stable temperature. You know, I've been doing warm ups at time. I'll get there in the morning, it's so I have to have it stable. But there's been times where you know, when I first got started, to get the temperature, where the air conditioner would come on, and it would
change it.
It would fail the test right there. It's that's how sensitive that thing is. It's that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
You gotta make sure everything's really compressed and no air or any extra outside forces are affecting.
It can't. And that's the one thing about this. It has to be in a location with a stable environment, stable temperature. There is a, you know, it's got to be it can't just be in a wide, it couldn't operate in this space
big open area.
No.
Okay.
You know, my area is real small, and I even have it split part out, 8x8 sections if need be. But my machine, I was able to stabilize that environment. It's about half the size of this, and I was able to stabilize that with the air and everything. But in a place like this, you'd have to cubicle out an 8x8 section and wall it off for its own space.
Oh,
Yeah.
high tech.
Yeah. I hope I'm getting everything.
Oh yeah. Anything you want to add?
Man, where do we start?
'Cause I was thinking I would like to have you back, and that way you could tell us about a little bit of your background as far as like everything you've done
As
in
a
the
trainer.
past. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I've done it all. But the most important thing is like what I'm doing now. Like
Right.
everything that I've done failed me forward.
There you go.
You know, I call it failing
Where you
forward.
find your passion.
Yeah, you know I've always been passionate about helping people. Like ever since I was like a young guy, I kind of knew I wanted to get in the medical field, be a doctor. And then when I got in there in the military, got into sports medicine, like I seen that whole like preventive medicine side of the house, because I worked for a military sports medicine doctor. He was like the Olympic sports medicine doctor, and I was his aide for 4 years. So he was also had a fellowship in like sports medicine, preventive medicine. Like, so I seen the health and fitness industry differently. And now I feel like I'm really able to like make a greater impact with people. Cause you know, sometimes as a trainer, I think it's great. Like you're working with that one person, but now with what I'm doing with the Bod Pod and the Body Fat Clinic, I could help literally hundreds of people a month. And who knows how many people because you know how it is, like you help someone with mobility, how many people do they help at the Thanksgiving?
Yeah, they tell them about it, like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and before I could not do that.
Right, and they're teaching them stretches. You
Like,
know,
try this. Oh, your back hurts, do this.
Right,
kind of thing.
And that's what happens. It's that snowball effect. So like that's what I really enjoy about this Body Fat Clinic is the snowball, the helping people.
Yeah.
You know, and I just feel blessed right now. This trending is starting to trend.
Yeah.
Like
You can feel it. You see it. There you go.
yo siempre. Always. I'm trying to learn Spanish right now.
You're practicing every moment you get.
I'm trying poco a poco.
Poco poco. There you go.
Perfect. So if there's any like piece of advice you could give the audience about their fitness or anything like that, what would you tell them?
Go to my DM me on Instagram. Put in your credit card information with your expert.
There you go.
No, I'm joking. Advice I give people is stop guessing. Stop throwing your money away. If you're going to take fitness serious, if this is a lifestyle you want to do, if you want to get into it, if you've been doing it, come get a Bod Pod test, see where you're at, and hold your program accountable. You know, because obviously, like yourself, you're doing everything everyone was telling you to do, and it wasn't working. And how long did it take you to figure that out? You know, a lot of times
Almost 20 years.
It takes 20 years, right? Whereas with the Bod Pod, we could
Narrow it down.
lower it down to months. You
Yeah,
can literally lower it.
figure out, like, what's working, what's not.
Yeah, absolutely, and we could be winning the whole time. And it's very easy to get set up with a Body Fat Clinic. Instagram is an easy way, right? Because that's our that's the platform we just started. We've been open since June. You know, and we're growing I like how we're growing. We're impacting people. You could message us there, but what's easy is just go to the website www.bodyfatclinic.com, and it's an easy website. It has you could just schedule there. You could learn more about the Bod Pod. There's some videos there people could watch. It has like the instructions on how to show up, what to dress. And then you could just schedule your appointment and purchase right there. Simple. But if you prefer just a message, some people like to message, right?
It's easier, faster.
Some people like it, but it doesn't matter to me. But that's the advice I want to give to people is stop wasting time, stop guessing, stop throwing your money away.
I like that.
Yeah. It's right.
Yeah, 100%.
The
Yeah.
more data, the better you can make it.
Save your time, save your money. Time is money.
It's the only commodity. It's the most valuable commodity.
Oh yeah.
Can't buy it.
Yeah.
One thing
You can't buy it back. You can't buy no more time.
But we could give you more. We could give people more time by saving them the hassle right?
Yeah.
Like you're getting healthier, you're going to have a longer,
longer.
you get more productive. So
Perfect. Well, we
There you
thank we thank Bill for sharing his body fat clinic information, and then contact him if you guys want to go get your data or anything. And appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode. What's your story?